Alright, so we are on to section 11.3, which is still solving systems of equations. We are still looking for where two linear lines cross, where they meet, where they intersect. But now we're using a different method called elimination. So how do you solve a system of linear equations using elimination? Where elimination is the method used to solve systems where one variable is eliminated. So we're either going to get rid of y or we're going to get rid of x by adding or subtracting two equations. So to practice this, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little warm-up. You have to know how to add two expressions together, and you have to know how to subtract two expressions together. So that's what we're going to practice. So I'm going to erase this vocab. If you still need it, just pause the video because I'm going to work out these equations. Alright, so right now we're just going to work with addition. We're going to work with subtraction in a second. And we're going to do number 1 first. We are adding these two expressions. So we have 3x plus 4. And we are going to add 2x minus 6. Notice how I line up the x's, I line up the numbers. Okay, lined up the x's, lined up the numbers. 3x plus 2x is 5x. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. That is our expression when we combine them. Okay, this next one, number 2. When we do number 2, we are still adding 3x squared plus 4y, and we are going to add negative 2y minus 10. Notice here how I lined up the y's. There's nothing to line up with the x squareds, there's no like terms, and there's nothing to line up with the numbers. Okay, so here we get 3x squared, just bring it right down, plus 2y minus 10. That would be our result here. So just to check to make sure you can add expressions together, go ahead and add these two expressions together right there. And do that on the left-hand side, please. Alright, so if you're back with me, you just did this on the left-hand side, you added them together. Now we're going to move on to make sure that we can subtract. Subtraction. Okay? We're still going to write it in the same form that we did last time. So if I do number 1 right here, we're going to do 3x plus 4. And then we're going to go minus 2x, still lining up the x's, minus 6. Okay? So I'm subtracting. So when I read this, I should be reading 3x minus 2x. That's 1x. 4 minus a negative 6 is a positive 6. Nope. It's 4 plus 6, which is 10. Okay. I don't actually like to leave it as subtraction. I would much rather add. So this is what I do. Before I even start this process, I'm going to change this into an addition problem. Okay, so I get 3x plus 4. That just stays the same, but I want this to be addition. What that means is I have to distribute out the negative sign, and I would get negative 2x and a plus 6. You are changing the negatives to the positives and the positive to the negatives. And when I do that, 3x plus 4 plus negative 2x plus 6, you'll see that I get the same thing, 1x plus 10. I would much prefer to do addition, so when I move on to doing my problems, I'm going to always use this method here. I don't like subtracting, I'd much rather just add. Alright, number 2, we're still subtracting, but remember I'm going to change this to an addition because for me, I like that a lot better. So I'm going to add, which means that I need to distribute this negative, and I get 2y, negative turns to a positive, plus 10, negative turns to a positive. So when I subtract these, it's number 2. I'm adding 2y plus 10. And you get 3x squared plus 6y plus 10. Notice I still lined up the y's. Okay, so try number 3. Remember you're subtracting here. Try it on the left-hand side. Don't add them. You're subtracting. Alright. if you're back with me, you've already subtracted these two on your left-hand side. So what we got to do now is we got to look at actual equations. All we were just looking at is expressions, something without equal signs. So now if we look at an equation, 2x minus 4y equals 10, that is one linear equation. We could get y by itself and we could graph it. That would work. But we're going to use this elimination method that we've just kind of heard about. We haven't really used yet. So the elimination method is always the best when you have opposites. When you have a negative 4y and a positive 4y. You notice those are opposites. And when you add those together, you're going to cancel them out. They're going to add to 0. The y is going to be eliminated. So let's see what happens if we were just to add these two equations together. Super important is that you're making sure the equal signs line up, right? They have to. They have to or it won't work, okay? They gotta line up. You gotta keep your left-hand side separate from your right-hand side. Okay, so when we add them together, 2x plus 3x, we would get 5x. Negative 4y plus a 4y. Those are going to cancel or add to 0, right? They're basically gone. We have no more y's. And then we get equals 15, which you should be able to just solve this in your head really quickly, but just in case you can't, 5x equals 15, divide by 5, x equals 3. Again, I will tell you, you're well on your way to the answer, but this is not the answer. If you give me this as the answer on the test, you will get it wrong. You need to tell me where do they cross. These are still two lines. You're still telling me where they cross. Okay? So we've got an x value of 3, and now we have to find the y value. Well, we could do it several different ways, right? There's a lot of ways you could do it. I'm just going to take this x and plug it back into the first equation. So I'm going to erase some of my work that I have down here. I'm going to erase this. And I'm no longer adding. What I'm doing is I'm taking this x value and I'm going to plug it back in up here for x. Okay? When I do that, I get 2 times 3, 2 times 3 minus 4y equals 10. Right? 2 times 3 is 6, minus 4y equals 10. Subtract 6 from both sides. Negative 4y equals 4. Divide by negative 4. And I get y is equal to negative 1. Now, yay, that is the actual answer that we were looking for. Cool. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to be doing. That is elimination. So let's just do some more examples. Let's do 2 more examples, then I'll have you do 2 on your own. Then I'll do 2 more, then you'll do 2 on your own. And, yeah. Alright, next one. 4x minus 2y equals 12. And we don't know if we're going to be adding or subtracting yet, so we'll see in just a second. 2y equals 8. Okay, so you have to look to see if your x's are opposites. They're not. 4 and 1, those are not opposites. But if we look here, we've got a negative 2y and a positive 2y. Those are opposites. If we added those together, those would cancel out or add to 0. So what we do is we say, all right, the y's we're gonna add, and that's gonna get our y's to cancel out. And you notice that again, our equals are lined up. Okay, they have to be lined up. 4x plus x is 5x equals 12 plus 8 is 20. Remember the y's canceled, divide by 5, you get x is equal to 4. We are well on our way to the answer, but I will say it one more time and write it one more time. This is not the answer, okay? What we got to do is we have to take that 4, plug it back in to figure out what the y is. You can plug this x into either equation. I'm going to choose to plug it into the second equation because the x is by itself, and I would rather work with an x that's by itself than an x that is being multiplied by 4. So we got 4 right here, 4 plus 2y equals 8. If you don't know what I did here, I took this 4 and I plugged it back into the second equation and I rewrote it. Then I subtract 4, 2y equals 4, divided by 2, you get y is equal to 2. The final answer would be 4, 2. That is your answer. That is where the two lines cross or meet or intersect. Alright, another example. One more example, and you'll do 2 on your own. Okie dokie. Right, we've got 2x plus 6y equals 6. And 2x minus y equals -8. So we have to figure out, do we want to eliminate the x's or do we want to eliminate the y's? And what we do is we look to see, are they opposites? So we've got a 2x and a 2x. Those aren't opposites, but they do have the same coefficient. So we'll think about that in a minute. But right here, these are not opposites either, right? 6 and -1, those aren't opposites. So we're going to try to see if we could do anything with the x's. Remember in the beginning I said that we could add or subtract. We could add or subtract. So we got to figure out which one would work here for this. Well, we can't add them because we don't have opposites right now. So we have to subtract. We have to subtract this entire equation. Remember, I don't like subtraction, so for me, what I do is I distribute out this negative. Distribute out the negative so that I can add. Once I distribute that negative, I get -2x, positive y, and positive 8, and this turns into an addition. Every single sign changes. Now I have an addition problem, and I like those better. Notice that the equal signs are still lined up. Okay, 2x minus 2x. Those are our opposites. Those are what cancel. And then we get 6x plus, or 6y plus 1y, we get 7y is equal to 14. We divide by 7, we get y is equal to 2. Yay, awesome, we got something. That's not your answer though. Please don't put this as the answer. I'm going to say it one more time. Not the answer. Great. So in order to find our x, we have to take that y and plug it back in somewhere. You could plug it into either one, but I'm going to plug it into the second equation. Okay, when I do that, -2x plus 2 equals 8. And we subtract 2 from both sides. 6 is equal to -2x divided by -2. X is equal to -3. Now we have enough to write our answer of -3, 2. Yay. That there is our answer. Okay, you've been listening to me for a long time. Time to give you guys some practice problems. I'm going to give you 2 problems to do on your left-hand side. And then we've got a couple more to do. Okay, on the left-hand side, the first problem you're doing, your system of equations. X minus 5y equals 14. Solving that by elimination. Figure out if it's addition or subtraction, and figure out what your solution is. Same here. Addition or subtraction, figure out what your solution is. Alright, pause the video, complete those on your left-hand side. Okay, if you're back with me, I'm assuming that you have already completed these two. Just for the sake of how much you have to learn today, I am going to give you guys the answer to these. If you did not get it correct, please go back, please call me over, please try to figure out what went wrong. Those are the answers you should have gotten. Alright, moving on. We've got 2 more example problems, 2 more practice problems, and that is it. Negative 4x minus 2y equals 4. 4x plus y equals negative 4. Okay. Here's our first example problem. Notice that the equal signs are lined up. That's good. Okay. And you can notice something else. We have our x's, negative 4x and 4x. Those are opposites. That's good. Negative 2y and positive 2y. Those are opposites. That's also good. Well, if they're opposites, we know that we can just add. So let's add and see what happens. Okay, when we add, negative 4x and 4x make 0. Negative 2y and 2y make 0. 4 and negative 4 make 0. So 0 equals 0. Well, yeah, duh. Like, we knew that 0 does equal 0. So this means infinite, many solutions. Okay? Alright, one more, and then 2 practice. Okay, so we got to figure out if we're going to add or subtract and what variable is going to be eliminated. So right now we have 1x and 1x. Those are not opposites, but they have the same coefficient. And 1y and 1y. Those are not opposites, but they have the same coefficient. So if they are not opposites, we need to subtract. Remember, I don't like subtraction, so I just like to distribute out the negative, which means that this gets negative x, negative y, and negative 4, and this turns into addition. We change the signs of everything. Okay, you'll notice that the equal signs are also lined up. That's good. When we solve this out, x plus negative x, 0. Y plus negative y, 0. Negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative 6. 0 equals negative 6. That is not true. No good. So that means that there are no solutions to this set of equations, which means that if you were to graph them, they would look like this, parallel. They would never cross. So no solution. Because that is not true. Alright. You got 2 practice problems, and then you have 1 video to watch after this. Or 2 practice problems. 4x minus y equals 3. 4x minus y equals negative 2. That's one system of equations. And there's another one. Okay? Alright. 1 and 2. Perfect. Solve those on the left-hand side. When you're done with that, you are done with this video. And move on to the next video.